And what I want to share with you is something that's very, very important. And I was channeling this information from the true source. And I was asked to share this. And what I wanted to share, if something goes wrong in your life, you're not a victim. You are given the opportunity to change that which challenges you. And I want to repeat that one more time. If something goes wrong in your life, you're not a victim. You are given the opportunity to change that which challenges you. And that goes back to the old question, how do you experience life? How do you know wrong from right? How do you know from hot from cold? How do you know love and not being loved? Everything in life is nothing but an experience. Everything has knowledge. Everything empowers us. Sometimes we forget to listen to the message of our true inner source guidance. And we get a little heady and we become belligerent, say, I'm going to prove you wrong. I guarantee you, when you take that attitude, you will always end up with egg on your face. But you're not a victim. What you do or have created is an experience to empower you. And using that experience to empower you, you're gaining knowledge. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is success. Knowledge is love. Knowledge is happiness. Knowledge is prosperity. Knowledge is abundance. And knowledge is life. That is so important for us to understand that. Therefore, when you are running into a brick wall, figuratively speaking, and things are not going right, you have to take a breather. And you have to ask yourself in a meditation, is this right for me? What am I to learn? Why was this created? And it could very well be that you need more knowledge. In other words, that supposing you became an architect, graduated, you're not going to build a 100-story skyscraper, even though you think you can, but you don't have the knowledge and experience. And so you might try that idea, nobody believes in you. 20 years later, when you've built a bunch of buildings and you come up with the same idea, they go, yep, we're ready for you, because you've gained knowledge. And you've gained that knowledge to create something wonderful and powerful in your life. But let's not stop at being an architect. Let's stop and think about our everyday life. Let's think about our everyday life. We all have challenges. There are things in our life that I find very challenging and I don't want any part of. But I know I have to do it. And the way it works for me is when I have a challenge and I avoid the challenge, it keeps coming back and hitting me between the eyes until I finally face that challenge. You know, my attitude is, what the heck did I take so long? This was a piece of cake. Why did I avoid it? But that's our human nature, which is part of our ego. And if we begin to understand that when something goes wrong, you're not a victim, it's adding to you new knowledge and understanding, then you are no longer challenged. You are empowered. And being empowered, you now can be a teacher to others. You can either impart the information or lead by example. Whatever you wish to do, or maybe you'll do both, you are changing your life and you're changing the life of others. You know, you heard me talk when the year 1900 came about, and they were worried in the year 1900, would they have enough horses for the population that's going to grow in the world? Now that sounds ludicrous, doesn't it? But at that time, that was a very big deal. But human consciousness, human engineering, and belief in yourself, we eventually created cars, and we created different kinds of trains and so on and so forth, and airplanes. But what we have to understand is we're never ever a failure. Never. We're just learning something new. But it's so easy for us to fall into the ego trap that, you know, it's a failure, it won't work, it'll never happen. Almost every self-made millionaire, almost, has gone bankrupt or lost everything at least once. But they learned. They had power. They had knowledge, what worked and didn't work. And that's all we're here for. Learn about self-worth, self-love, and self-esteem. But we learn it through those experiences of life. And some of them are very challenging, and some of them are not. And I look at my life and say everything that I've got an experience in my life led me to this point where I could be sharing the knowledge of the true source and the gifts of the true source with all of you. And to impart this knowledge so that you can embrace whatever part of it you so desire to change your life and be happy and joyous. You know the expression, I hate it, by the way, life is too short. Oh, I hate people saying that, because you're already manifesting a short life. What you think you create, you experience. So please, try not to use that. You know, if whatever number of years you're going to live here, whether it's 60, 70, 80, 100 or less, when your mission and goal is over, time to depart, unless you ask for another one. And if your soul grants it, you will. If not, then you'll birth out of your body and have a great party, feel the love, and come back to somewhere else, or maybe this planet or another time. But the most important thing is never put yourself down. Never berate yourself. Never think you're insignificant. Never think you have low self-worth, self-esteem, self-love. Never think you're not loved. You know, there was a song, the greatest love of all is love of yourself. And that's what we're here to learn about loving ourselves. Not in a haughty, conceited, greedy way, but to realize that love is the greatest power in the universe, that you were created out of love, by love, and from love. And the true source is one vibration, one frequency, one energy is love. And what is it? You know, it's very difficult for me to describe love because it's something that's personal. It's an emotion, but it's something that makes you feel good, makes you feel happy. And you know, if you have an illness and you get out of your ego and you say, I love you, body, you'll actually heal. It may take you a short period or a long period, but nothing negative can live in the energy of love. If you have an illness, send love to the illness, the bacteria, the virus, whatever it is, because it cannot exist in negative energy in the energy of love. And although this may sound kind of airy-fairy, the truth is the truth, and it will always stand for itself. And if you bother to think about everything in your life gives you power and knowledge by learning what works and doesn't work, then you become an expert in your life. You are the expert of your life. But more importantly, as you are the expert of your life, you will change others' lives. Not so much by talking to them, although that does help, by how you lead your life, how you treat others. You become the role model. And that role model, others will emulate. And as they emulate one after another, the 100th monkey syndrome, what will happen is we will change the mass consciousness on this life, on this planet, to everyone around us. So next time when you look in the mirror, when you think about yourself and something goes wrong in your life, I created this to learn something new. And even though it may be arduous or painful, I got it. Now I don't have to repeat it. I'm now empowered. And I've learned a karmic lesson about self-worth, self-love, and self-esteem. Because you are unlimited.